Hello there and welcome to the QNB Stars League preview show, all in English here on Alcast, as we look ahead to all 6 matches in Week 8 in the company of former English Premier League players Nick Somerby and Chris Makin. After this round, we have an international break, so it's crucial that the teams get a good performance in the bag, Chris Makin.
It's crucial for Al Sadd to bounce back from that disappointing defeat in the Champions League in midweek. They can go into the break, top of the league. That'll be job done for them.
I'm going to carry on from there. I think they have a big performance in that second leg, and I think they can do it. I don't think they played very well in the first leg, but I think the dream is still there, and they can give us that big performance. I'll tell you something, it is a case of them bouncing back, because we saw De Gea, they did that after their disappointment. And
there's plenty for the teams in the bottom half of the table to be focusing on as well. But first, let's head over to Shadin Wadden, who will show us the league standings after 7 weeks and how they line up for Week 8.
Going into Week 8 of the QNB Stars League, Al Sadd and Al Dahel remain at the top with 16 points each, with Giswaldo Ferreira's team capturing the #1 spot due to their large goal difference of +28. Al Saliya and Al Rayyan make up the top 4. Slal are knocking on the door after 3 consecutive wins, and Al Arabi remain in the top half of the table. Al Gharrafa are languishing in 7th position after 3 defeats on the bounce. It's all very tight in the lower half of the table, with Al Kharitiyat off the bottom of the standings. As for the fixtures, on Friday the 5th of October, Al Gharrafa meet Al Arabi at 17:40, and Qatar Sports Club meet Al Kharitiyat at 19:50 Doha time. On Saturday the 6th of October, early game is Al Khor against Al Rayyan, and Al Shahaniya meet Al Ahli at 19:50. On Sunday the 7th of October, Al Dahel face Slal for the early kickoff, and later on Al Sadd are up against Al Saliya at 19:50 at the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium.
First up, it's Al Gharrafa versus Al Arabi. Now then, what's happening to Al Gharrafa? Let's start with them. Chris Makin first, because you're wearing Al Gharrafa colours. 3 defeats on the bounce. What's going on?
Don't know. Don't know what the coach is thinking here, but he must be thinking what's going on. Schneider's injured. He's obviously the captain, the mainstay. He knits everything together. So without Schneider, is it the Schneider effect? Is it him missing? I'm looking at Weiss to get hold of the ball, take control. Is he really doing it? Taremi, is he scoring goals now? There's just 1 or 2 little bits there missing at the moment for Al Gharrafa.
Because it is a good squad. There are players, individuals there, Nick, that you'd be happy to have in your team.
Well, what they've done there is where they're killing themselves. Really, is they've shown what performance they can do, what they did against Al Sadd, and after that. So that's their level. That's where they have to be. So anything below that is obviously showing now. I think it's more, they're not coming into these games now with enthusiasm. That is the problem there, which I think the manager's trying to turn around. So how do you do that? You can't do that on the training pitch. You know, you can't inject them with enthusiasm. So somehow or other, they've got to get it going again.
Let's hear from Al Gharrafa head coach Christian Gorkov and what he thinks the problem is.
For me, I have no problem outside. The problem is inside the field, and you have to recover our play, because last game it's very difficult. We lose motivation and aggressivity and make many mistakes. And for this is the player have to now recover the fighting spirit. Is because in football you first is fighting spirit, after technical thing, but if you have no fighting spirit, you can win, you can play.
Okay, fighting spirit. I tell you what, I'm going to throw the first bit of information for you up on the screen. Thanks to Stats for this. So, talking about attitude, effort, Amro Surag, he covered 11.9 kilometres against Al Kharitiyat, the highest total distance in Week 7. So we're getting effort from him.
That's strange for a wide forward player.
Yeah.
You normally get off a midfielder or maybe a fullback, but not a wide. He must have been doing a lot of covering.
This is what
this
is leading us to that. So if he's putting in that, who's not putting the work in? Is this what Gorkov is getting at? What he's protecting?
Could you do me a favour for the next show? Could you tell us what the average is throughout the league and what, just to give us a little bit of an idea of where we are.
Well, he's the highest.
So you can compare it.
Yeah. So
I mean,
what is it? What is is it no coincidence that the teams at the top of the league are running the most with the most players? I mean, we can only go back to what Ryan were. Ryan when they won the league, when there was 5 or 6 players running 12, 13 kilometres. What is the Premier League? What is Spain?
I agree, but the interesting point is exactly what Chris says. For his position, maybe that's a little unusual.
You don't normally get that now.
All right, that is Amro Surag. So well done him for working so hard during that week. Let's take you back to the side that they're playing against, Al Arabi, and show you what they did. Because this was good play by Al Arabi, despite the defeat, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, this shows you how they've had the success in the last couple of weeks. They move the ball around. It all comes from this Jardel. He's very, very clever with his passes. But just watch this. It goes on for some time now, and how much they keep the pressure on. And it was really good. Once again, Jardel, they're working it. Plenty of players forward as well. They're not just getting back now. All of a sudden, they're still believing they're going to create another opportunity. Just watch out, nothing here now as Jardel finds that space and he moves the ball out to the left-hand side. If you're going to question what Al Arabi are all about now and why they've done so well, this is why. Because all of a sudden they've learned to keep the ball. And they've got that belief in the side. I mean, look, eventually they've worked it out to this.
So they shouldn't be, despite this defeat in week 7 against Al Salia, Chris, they shouldn't be downhearted going into this match against Al Gharafa.
No, for the first time I watched his performance, I thought Al Arabi looked like a proper side, looked like a top 5 side. And that little clip there just shows you the sustained pressure that they're putting teams under. That was against Al Salia.
And the other thing you picked out was the chances that Salah had. Let's have a look at those. I know ifs and buts and they didn't go in, but they were good, clear-cut chances. I mean, he won't want to keep seeing these, but they were great opportunities where they could have, gone ahead on that one.
And he's done well this season. He's scored 2 or 3 goals already, so he's going into this game full of form and you expect him just to nod that home. He just gets too much on it, but the Salah chances go in, different game altogether. And they are good chances, aren't they? That's a free header from 2 yards out. This is a one-on-one. Very, very good chances, which is a positive for Al Arabi.
They've never created chances like that all the time we've been here. Going forward, they carve sides open. There's not many teams what can do that. All that is a case of doing in the training ground there. Just keep working at it, working at different situations, working at headers, because they're creating chances.
Okay, let's hear from Al Arabi head coach Luka Bonasic.
Okay, we try to bring against our mentality up, because now is a very difficult game for us, especially Al Gharafa last 2 weeks, lost, and normal that also his coach and the player, will make unit and try to beat us. But we this week were working very well, we working to go to win next games, and inshallah tomorrow we must show.
So that's Luka Bonasic. So he's still upbeat. He understands as well. They're creating chances. It could be a week. It goes differently for them. Al Gharafa, Al Arabi. Chris?
I've got to go Al Arabi 1-0.
Wow. That would be a big, big blow for Al Gharafa. It's an Al Gharafa home game as well.
2-1 Al Arabi.
Woo! Right. Next up, Qatar Sports Club versus Al Kharatiat. Okay, Qatar Sports Club, they have the new head coach, Sergio Batista of Argentina. Nick, this is the only goal they got in week 7. It was a lovely goal from Samuel Eto'o. But this is all they had to offer.
I mean, they're playing against the best. Let's get that straight. For the first 10-15 minutes, obviously the manager's in the stand. I thought they played well. I thought they looked organised. They didn't look to be in the position where they are struggling to get that second victory. And all of a sudden they went behind, and Al Sadd are capable of ripping anybody apart. So it starts off now. These are the games where they're probably expected to win. New manager.
We often get that, don't we?
But
new head coach manager comes in, you get a lift.
But they're up against Kratiyat. Kratiyat have just got their first victory, and it was a good victory as well.
Let's remind everybody of that victory, Al Kharatiat in week 7, and 2 fantastic goals. Dalul, Chris.
Well, he's the man on form at the moment. He's got 3 goals to his name so far this season, so keep feeding him. It was a much improved performance. The result was right for Kratiyat. It's a first win, so they're full of confidence. This is a fantastic game to look forward to. Both sides need to win. How many times do we say those crucial games at the bottom where the teams around you, you've got to try and beat those teams. Shahania have done it really well so far this season. Can one of these teams do it this weekend?
I mean, this boy here, Dalul, it's okay looking at the players like your Afifs, like your Moez. He's at the bottom of the league. That shows me that the boy's got character. He scored goals in a side which is struggling.
Yeah, and of course he's taking the glory, but you guys picked out, Nick, take us off on Anwar Diba, because he was the man who helped make the difference.
I think Chris said before the game, need a big performance off him, and this is what we got. His vision was fantastic. I mean, look at this for a pass. You'll see shortly where the goal came from, the same type of pass, and he was on fire. He really was. He just bossed it in midfield. I mean, just watch out here now. There he does. He's picking it deep as well. It's his array of passing, and all of a sudden Dalul's down that left-hand side, and it's inch perfect, all these passes. So what they're doing as well, Kratiat, is stretching the game, playing in midfield as well, and they look really good. But this is going to be the goal here now, and this tells me straight away. This is all about the vision. I mean, there he is, Diba in the middle. Dalul's out on the distance, you can see, but just watch this. All right, saying it and seeing it, but to actually hit it, he's on the turn there. There's his first touch, second touch, absolutely inch perfect. And he was the difference. He stood out head and shoulders above everybody on the pitch. He really showed that quality.
How much more is to come from Al Kharatiat? You touched on it there, Nick, in your answer. Chris, so we've seen a great 2-0 win. We've seen great performances, especially Diba that we're seeing here now. How much more do you think is there to come from Al Kharatiat? They're off the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
That win brought them above Al Khor.
Yeah. I think this man is key. Razak, central, going right through the middle there. It's easy for the Diba to be able to find him. They've not had that. They've had Hamroon playing in that central attacking position. Doesn't really work out. You just need a front man there.
Now, on Hamroon, I want to bring this in, because we're big fans of him, and I'm sure he'll watch this show. We're not picking on Hamroon here. We're big fans, Nick. You've always admired him, and Chris as a player. But in week 7, just look at this. He was caught offside on 6 occasions in week 7. That's the highest total in a QMB Stars League game this season. And I know how much that gets on your nerves when players keep getting caught offside. Now, what more is to come from Al Kharatiat is the question I'm asking. If he starts not getting caught offside, that's another dimension again.
It means they're getting forward.
Right? Yeah.
At least he's getting caught offside.
Yeah.
Now he's just got to work on it in training.
Do you know what I think? I think he went to the club. I think he was a little bit down. I didn't think he thought things were going to be well. It's going to be a difficult season. And all of a sudden, the players, I think it surprised him. They had that determination, and it went right. He'll come good now, no problem. It wasn't one of his best performances, but we know the quality of what he's got. And now they've got. Football is all about confidence. That's what it's all about. That, and can you maintain it? Can you keep it going? Once you put a good performance in, it can go very quickly. It can move. Look at Graffa. Graffa's an example for that. Once you get your confidence, when you get that first victory, it can go, and anything can happen. And we've got to remember about Kratiat a couple of years ago. They had the biggest run we could ever think of. They were at the bottom a couple of managers ago, and all of a sudden they went more or less unbeaten from being rock bottom. So, nothing surprises me.
So, Qatar Sports Club against Al Kharatiat, Mr. Summerby.
It's a big call, this, isn't it? I'm gonna have to go for, I think Qatar. They're going to edge it 2-1.
Okay.
Total opposite.
2-1
Kharatiat.
to Al Kharatiat. Fantastic. Next up, Al Khor versus Al Rayyan. Okay, let's chat about Al Khor for a bit. They've got Bernard Cassoni, formerly of Marseille. You crossed paths with him at some point in your career, Chris. We're getting good performances, better performances already from Al Khor. One of the statistics, I haven't got it to show you, I'm just telling you, that their performances, their chances they're creating and what they're doing in defence should put them halfway up the table. No, Sis, if you look at
you say that about every team.
No, but if you look at the raw statistics, chances created and chances and things prevented.
Rodri, can I just stop you now before you carry on? You're doing a lot of this should and could and would.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
You can't
I'm
do
just
that in
telling
football.
you.
We live in the real world.
Like, you sound like one of those golfers that comes in the clubhouse afterwards. I left a couple of shots out there. Like, well, I did as well.
Rodri, we have to. This has stops that. You're talking. It's not. We live in the real world. What happens? We can't.
Okay, but they're putting better performances in, correct?
I think it's going to get better with Cassoni going in as a manager. They needed a coach there, and Wagner's looking quite dangerous as well.
Right, okay, we'll move on to Al Rayyan. Let's have a look at Al Rayyan's goal from week 7, shall we? and it was left to that man to save the day for Al Rayyan Tabata.
Absolutely top quality. I mean, we've said it all the time since we've been here, and he's capable of doing that. We'll say the same thing again. Have they got enough firepower? Have they really got enough firepower? I mean, the players
to sustain it.
To sustain it all the way through, but have they? The problem.
I'll call up here again. We see. Let's look at Tabata and Sebastian. This is what you both. No, you can't.
You're leaving me. I'm stuck there. It's coming.
No, I know what you're saying. But this is it again, the new players. Because at the moment, that's all we're relying on these all the time.
Right, we're saying clips every week.
Yeah, but this just it just tells me something, and I'm not saying it in a wrong way. Wonderful play, but is it a little bit tiring? That's all. And please don't think I'm being wrong, because they are fantastic players that give you 100%.
We have the same clips of the same players.
We do, but only correct.
Every week.
And all of a sudden now, they've got these new players who've come into the club who are injured. Can't work it for the life of me. The press people
one's going home.
Yeah, one's going home. They want to say, well, where is he? Tell me where he is. And he can't answer if he's fit or not. But, it's goals for me.
I think they've signed a defender this week. Dami Traore's gone there.
Dami Traore has gone there.
Are they playing him up front?
From Al Dahel,
Going up front.
Stick him up front now. Can I just tell you now this could cost them a place in the top 4.
Big statement. Al Khor versus Al Rayyan in week 8. Chris?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Nick?
1-0 Al Khor.
Woof! Next up, Al Shahaniya versus Al Ahly. Al Shahaniya, Nick, we're getting what we expected from them. They're fighting every single game. What they can, they pick up. If they lose, they just let it go and get on with the next game.
Yeah, but they play good football and create chances. But all of a sudden now they will slip into a relegation battle at a certain point. I can't see them being where they are now in the table. It's great what they are, but they're desperate for the points again. But they look organised. In every game, what you see, they get opportunities, so that's going to always give them hope.
They've done well against the teams around them in the league, but then is it Amangua?
Yeah.
He's missing. I think he did his hamstring last week. He's a vital part of that team.
Let's hear from their head coach, Jose Murcia Gonzalez.
The match again Al Ahly is an important match. We won the 3 point, but I know this difficult. Al Ahly and we are for me, my opinion is from the same league, and I think the quality is present in the match.
Well, he's still upbeat. They're up against Al Ahly. Let's have a look what Al Ahly have got to offer. Well, of course, it was that 2-1 defeat against Al Dahel in week 7. This was their reply late on from Al Yazidi. Chris, I mean, it's not too bad just to lose 2-1 to a team like Al Dahel.
It was a very close game. Al Dahel weren't at the best, were they? Al Ahly were just coping in the game, but they get the goal back. Just need a 2 or 3 game run, don't they, to get some wins together. Machalla's under pressure. People are talking about him leaving his job. I think it's very, very unfair because they haven't had the best of starts, but if anyone can put it right, it's Machalla. He knows the club inside out. He's still got some good players there.
He's got the experience, and he's
Mutawali.
He's thick-skinned. Let's tell you what. Let's hear from Milan Machala before we hear from Nick again.
Our situation is this moment. We cannot say that we are satisfied with this situation. We need, for my opinion, we need these 3 points from the game against Elia, because I cannot forget this game. What happened during this game was shock. And of course, we have these 3 points, plus 1 point from the game against Dahel. It was clear opportunity for this last few minutes, and was different situation.
Business as normal for Milan Machala.
He got a lot of stick in the press conference, which I thought was unfair, to be honest with you. I mean, some of the questions what were asked to him were, "What are you going to do when you retire?" And it kept coming. I thought that was rude. That to a man who's 75 years old. It was wrong. I would give him the job till the end of the season. This is not his squad, by the way. This is, obviously you can say Nigel de Jong has come in. This is not his squad. So let him bring 3 or 4 players in at January and let's have him look at him at the end of the season. I think they're holding on for that. I think all this talk with him now, keep him. He's the right man. What's anybody else going to do when they come in?
Okay, Al Shahaniya versus Al Ahly.
Al Ahly, 2-0.
Same.
Okay, next up, Al Dahel versus Salal. Right, Al Dahel, week 7. Let's have a look at those goals that they put away against Al Ahly, and it was the return. I say the return, or the return to usual form of El Arabi, Chris.
Well, they had to bounce back because they got beat in the Champions League. This was a fantastic header goal by El Arabi. I think they're going to get tested from Salal, and it'll be very interesting to see what level Salal are at the moment, because this will be a test for them as well. So a good test for the other side. Al Hale, what are they missing this season? It's difficult to put your finger
Well,
on
you
it.
talked about Ishmael. He got injured in the first week, didn't he?
Sakni's.
With a very bad broken leg. We're still wishing him all the best. Hope that's recovering at the moment. But
Masakni's on his way back.
Masakni's on his way back.
There's something, I don't know. I
'Cause
don't know what it is.
I wanted to bring
Is it
this.
Balmade?
I wanted to bring this gentleman in. Here he is, Edmilson Jr. We've talked about him in a number of the review shows. Yes, he settled in, and this is how much he settled in, according to stats. He contributed to 10 shots in week 7, 3 shots, 7 shot assists, more than any other player, as he collected an assist in Al Hale's 2-1 victory against Al Ahly. Impressive stats for Edmilson Jr.
I don't worry about him at all. Right from the minute he's joined the football club, he's looked at home. But I don't know, there's a spark to Al Hale's play that they had last year that's not there this season. And they're still top of the league, joint top with Al Sadd, so you know, they're doing something right. But for me, they're not firing on all cylinders like last season.
Well, that could come when we have the break and come back when they play Al Sadd. That big performance, what Chris is talking about, might come
Don't you
then.
think this is a big test?
No, I do, yeah. I do.
Defensively wise, up against Sagbo, you know, we always talk about Al Hale as a good team, but defensively, are they still that unit that can keep out goals? And not, are they really?
This for me is Salal. This is what they enjoy, these games. It's perfect for them.
Let's have a look at Salal in action in week 7. We'll get rid of Edmilson there. This was just the 1-0 victory over Al Khor. It took a fabulous goal, Nick, from Mawas.
Absolutely. And wonderful. I mean, look at that there. Sees it late, but look as he just guides it past the goalkeeper. And they're on fire. You have to say the manager's brought something different to the club. He's taken them to that next level. And this game for them now is perfect. I mean, I asked a question to him and the whole place laughed. I said to him, if you win this game, tell me why you can't be title contenders. Well, why can't they? Is it a joke or they are ready?
What will say that clearly more than anything is if they get a victory against Al Hale in week 8. So, Al Hale versus Salal.
Yeah, 3-1 to Salal.
Oh! Chris! That's huge!
Chrissy, I've done it! Chrissy!
Very naughty boy, isn't he?
Go on!
Cat amongst the pigeons. What are you
What are you going to do about that then?
I'll go.
You're going to do Salal yourself?
2-2, Rod.
2-2! Let's go to the final game. Al Sadd versus Al Saleh. Right, Al Sadd. Let's remind ourselves of week 7, 5 past Qatar Sports Club, Chris. Right. You know, this was the fluid machine. We didn't see this against Persepolis in the AFC Champions League first leg semi-final because it looked like Persepolis had done their homework and, you know, we're up a few levels again.
Yeah, but we're talking about a gulfing clash between the opposition in this match and Persepolis have been to their second year on the trot when they've reached the semi-finals of the Champions League, so they're very, very experienced, good side. The level of play is different to Qatar Sports Club, so I thought Al Sadd did okay in the first leg. You know, you've got a big job ahead of them now, but as far as the QMB Stars League is concerned, they're just blowing teams apart. They took over the mantle of Al Hale, if you like, where they're just scoring a bag full of goals every match.
Yeah, that's what keeps them ahead of Al Hale, of course, is that giant goal difference of plus 28.
Could be vital.
Yeah, that could be the decider.
Al Sadd, has it been between these two clubs?
It could very well be. And Al Sadd, of course, will probably feel it's their turn after being just pipped the last 2 seasons.
But let's not take it away from Saleh. You know, Saleh are a threat. You know, they score goals. They have to try and keep it tight at the back, but they can score goals. And what you know, this is ideal for Saleh again. We just spoke about Salal. You know, can Saleh get into that bracket? You know, can they try and compete at some point? You know, even if you go 3/4 of the season and then fade away, can they try and do it? This is a big opportunity for them, and they're a different Saleh than what we used to seeing because of the goal threat.
One of the big changes with Al Sadd and their performance, what Nick and Chris picked out last week, and he won Player of the Month in the QMB Stars League, and that's Gabby.
Did he win it after we picked him out on the review show?
Do you know, it's funny you should say that.
Incredible.
Do you know what? I thought to myself, I thought, I wonder if they've had a look at the review show and they've seen it.
Absolutely. What do you keep saying? They'll listen to us one year. Been here 7 years and not
Hey,
just keep...
absolutely.
Honestly. So that we're looking into the future sometimes, but he plays a vital role, doesn't he? I think he just gives the freedom for Xavi to go forward even more and express himself, because he's just that rock in midfield, just plays in front of the back four and just tidies everything up. Sometimes it doesn't look exciting, it's not good on the eye, but it's a vital role, and every team needs a Gabby in it. Really do.
Yeah, he's certainly settled in there nicely now and making a difference. They're up against Al Saleh. Let's have a look at these 2 goals from week 7 against Al Arabi. Again, are they playing well? I'm going to throw another stat at you. I'm not putting it up because you're just going to give me a hard time. If you look at the projected figures based on the quality and the number of their attacks and what they do in defence, Al Saleh should be second off the bottom of the table. They're not having it, they're just not having it. Anyway. But what about this for quick thinking?
Brothers, what was that? They should be where?
Second off bottom, just above Al Khor.
So you're saying they should be doing worse? It's normally the other way around.
No, they should be.
Worse,
based on what they're creating. And I'm going back to week 7. I'm going back to week 7 when they...
Rodri, this is called football. This is what you watch. Thank you, Tibber Canine. Put your stats out of the way. That is what we're talking about. The beautiful game.
No, so let me just put it in basic thing. These are the greatest overachievers this season, is Al Saleh.
You know what the difference is there? They've got 2 finishes.
Yeah.
Remember the game against Al Ahly 2 weeks ago? Well out the game. Managed to score 4 goals.
Okay, what does head coach Sami Drabelsi think?
I think the important thing that we win the game. We must play with a lot of objective. We don't try to find the spectacular football, but we need objective football. How we do now. Sure that our statistic in the opportunity and in possession, in number of opportunity in last third, it's down than last season, but our point and our number of winning game, it's more better than last season.
There we go. That's interesting hearing Sammy's side of it. Better stats last season, but not as good a results. So what are you saying? Throw the stats out the window?
They've got a cutting edge.
Yeah.
Simple as that. He's brought Abdul Kadir in, Tibber Canine, and the 2 goal scorers.
Yeah, but my point is, if they're overachieving, so if they could do better, we wouldn't be talking about them being 4th or 3rd. They could be winning the league.
Well, come on. Yeah, okay, all right.
Not in Al Sadd. Well, we'll find out this weekend. But
all right, then they beat Al Sadd. They go top of the league. Does it get any better than that?
No, they go stay there. There you go, stay there. Right, Al Sadd versus
you know exactly what it was.
Al Sadd, Al Saleh. Go on. Al Sadd, Al Saleh.
And I can't go another crazy one. Can I have done too many? Al Sadd, 2-1. 2-0, sorry.
2-1.
2-0?
2-1.
2-0.
To me, to you.
Right, let's head back to Shannon One and to see the league standings after 7 rounds, how they line up for week 8.
Going into week 8 of the QMB Stars League, El Sadd and El Dihel remain at the top with 16 points each, with Giswaldo Ferreira's team capturing the number 1 spot due to their large goal difference of plus 28. El Saleh and El Rayyan make up the top 4. Slal are knocking on the door after 3 consecutive wins, and Al Arabi remain in the top half of the table. Al Gharrafa are languishing in 7th position after 3 defeats on the bounce. It's all very tight in the lower half of the table, with Al Kharaitiyat off the bottom of the standings. As for the fixtures, on Friday the 5th of October, Al Gharrafa meet Al Arabi at 17:40, and Qatar Sports Club meet Al Kharaitiyat at 19:50 Doha time. On Saturday the 6th of October, early game is Al Khor against Al Rayyan, and Al Shahaniya meet Al Ahli at 19:50. On Sunday the 7th of October, Al Dihel face Slal for the early kickoff, and later on Al Sadd are up against Al Saleh at 19:50 at the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium.
That's it. We're all set for week 8 from Nick, Chris, and myself. Bye for now.